So, welcome back to the Dadskillz car channel. Today, no Mini today, but we're working on the Honda CRV, and I've got an issue with the air conditioning, which I'll go into how I found out about it and what we're doing, but we're actually going to change something. We're not going to split the pipes or anything. We're not going to release any gas into the atmosphere because, as all the commenters are going to say, oh, you can't do that, that's illegal. Yeah, well, we're not doing that, okay? We're going to try and make it work for the wife. But part of the video really is about Bangernomics and the economics of doing it, and also your personal choice to do it. So I did a job this week, just for an example. I did a job this week where there was quite a high-rise thing to get some cables up in, and it was a bit sketchy because it was his own ladders and all the rest of it. And he said, oh, if you don't fancy it, he saw my face, I think, and he said, oh, if you don't fancy it, I'll do it. You just leave the cable there and I'll do it. That's kind of like red rag to a bull if you say, if you don't fancy it, or if you don't want to do it, or if you don't think you're up to it. It's kind of red rag to a bull, and it's kind of why I do Bangernomics, really. But let's have a look at the video anyway. Ah! So today's video is going to be something like a bit of a journey of discovery. Hay fever and the bright sun getting right in the way, but hopefully we can circumnavigate all that. So how did I find out that we needed to do this? Well, I went down to my local garage. Can you regas my air conditioning? It was given hot weather, and we were going to do it before the summer anyway, and they took what seemed like an age. They take out 200 apparently and put in 500, whatever that means. Ah, there we go. There she is. I've also got a new belt to go on, so we'll see how we do that. So there's some underneath by the look of it. Need to do those? No, probably not. Stick that there somewhere. So this little gadget here is the air conditioning compressor behind there, and here's the clutched motory type thing. Oops, sorry. That we have a new one of, and it looks the same, so that's the first win. So I'm just going to run it up now. I'll finish my story in a minute, but we'll run it up and we'll see what should happen. Okay, so as you can see from that and the noise, the engine's running, but this isn't spinning. Now, air conditioning is off at the minute. I'll go and turn it on. That should magnetise and start turning. That is now magnetised, but it's still not turning. So that would tell me that hopefully this is where our issue is. So I'll turn it on. After some consternation trying to find this bloody tensioner, it was that I thought it was all along, and I had to get a spanner going up the back of this engine mount, another spanner on that, and then try and push it. But I'm not looking forward to getting the new one on. But the belt is off at last. We'll undo that first. Don't know if this is right or not. No idea how I'm going to hold it. Maybe I was wrong to take the belt off. We might end up putting tension back on the belt so I can undo it. But right, I sorted it. Just let me recreate what I did. And this is the thing with Bangernomics that we'll talk about in a minute, is I've never worked on the car like this before. Well, doing this job on this car before. There we go. So, looking online to find this stuff, there's just nothing out there, so you have to be prepared to take a bit more time because you haven't got a clue what you're doing. Right. Okay, cool. So let's see how this stuff comes apart. Don't lose that bit. So, judging by the new one, that should just slip off, which we may use the lever for that as well. And then we've got all this gubbins behind it. So the thing about Bangernomics is, I think, first of all, you have to enjoy actually working on cars. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Ha! That is the clutch plate, so that should be magnetised and stuck to the actual the rest of it and turn everything and start the compressor moving. But that is rusted to buggery, isn't it? Okay, that's cool. Does this stuff just pop off? It should do, but it will need a wiggle. So, you know, I can go out and get, and this is, it's not like it's decision made either in our house whether this is the right thing to do. But if you want a certain car, or you want a certain, so the wife wanted 4x4 and big for the dogs and all the rest of it, which is cool, no problem. But to go and get that PCP wise and all the rest of it, that's going to cost you a fortune. And I mean, we've spent up to like 280 odd quid a month on PCP cars. So imagine how much maintenance you can do for £218 a month. And then if you haven't got that payment all the time, you can then maybe go for a car that's a bit more thirsty maybe and still come out cheaper. So this car, if you're really lucky, you might do 35 to the gallon, which isn't great, is it? We wanted a petrol because we doing short journeys, we didn't want any DPF issues that you'd get with a diesel. How the hell am I going to get that out? It's not like you can get anything in there, like to pull it or anything. And this is the reason why I'm doing this on my air conditioning, is that I don't have to remove any of the pipes. Because as you know, releasing any of that stuff into the atmosphere is illegal. So I can't touch any of those pipes. Now all this is coming off. I wonder if I can just gently hit it. What do you think? Silly Matty. There's actually a circlip in there, which I didn't see, which you can't really see from here. Got it? Oh yes, there it is, look. Yes, so I'll go and try and get this regassed. And the guy who was doing it, I think they were doing it in between jobs. It seemed to take them far too long, but he comes back and he whispers something in the ear of the guy at the desk. Clutch not working, further investigation, blah blah blah. So the guy doesn't actually tell me that. What he says is, oh yeah, I think your compressor's gone. I'll give you a quote for it. I was like, yeah, go on then. See, let's have a laugh, shall we? 550. 550. And you drive home and you think I've got to tell the missus that. And then I'm just going to look fucking stupid again because we've gone down this path of second-hand car. Oh, there we go. Second-hand cars. Okay. I'm going to look like the fucking bad guy again, aren't I? So, but then you ever think about it and you think about what the guy said. And you have a look online and I found one company that did this bit, because no one wants to sell you that bit, they want to sell you the whole thing, don't they? So 66 quid later. Now, I'm putting tension on the back, but I'm hitting it at the front because that's the only place I can get to. But it seems to be working. I've got enough room to slip it off because there's not the right lot of room there. And the other thing is with a new car, especially the cars we had Skodas before, they're just so reliable. You know you're not going to have an issue until you take it in for a service. That's all the maintenance you need to worry about. This is the thing, you just got to keep on keeping on with these things. Because I could have given up when I couldn't get this tensioner undone. But you keep looking and you keep trying because you have to. You got no choice. Bangernomics, like my wife's got to go to work in this later. She won't drive the Mini because it's too loud, so I've got to change the exhaust on that to something more quiet. But she's got to go to work in this later on, so I've got to try and get this done. Oh yes, there we go. Look, oh, amazing! Look at that. I can't get that out. Let me show you how I release that. So we have the tyre lever levered against the subframe, and it goes up there and sits in the block. I then had to put this bar on it, and just by lifting it, I don't know if you can see that, it moved it just enough for that bit to fall off. Things you have to do. So from what I can make out, there is another circlip jobby in there. Another whole load of swearing later. That circlip is out. Let's look at the new one. It's got like a hole there, is there? Yeah, I can see the hole down there and it's not screwed into anything. So, give it a smack. What do you reckon? That works. That seems to work. Okay. I can't get it over the bloody thing again. Right, now somehow I'm going to have to get to the electrical bits on this. I'm going to have to take like this bottom panel off, I think, and get underneath. Okay, so it's been so long you wouldn't even know. Thank the bleeding Christ managed to get that out. That was the most difficult thing of the whole lot so far. See how well that goes back in. And the new thing. Is there a place where that should go? I'm sure there probably is. Well, it's got that little dimple. That must go in one of them. And when I looked, the old one, the hole was down there somewhere like that. Yeah, so we will go. Does it want to sit there somewhere? Yeah, that's about right. Out there. Screwdriver just to push it in a bit. Get out of it. There's so much stuff in the way. There. Is that it? Come on then. No, that's not it. Alright, excuse me. I'll put it on there. And you think it's on, but it wasn't quite. So the use of this extremely long screwdriver just to push that circlip on a bit more was useful. Very useful. Right, next bit. The bar is in. Can you see it? Just poking up there. Or it rested on my leg. Right, let's give it a bit of something. Oh god, I'm bending the bar, honey. Oh no. Right. Oh bloody hell. Got to get a stronger bar. Yes. We are on. Right. That just gets tapped on there, which I will do. Hopefully I can hit it in the middle. Right, okay, time for another circlip. Right, circlip and a big screwdriver. Oh yes. Is that you? Are you in? Come on, out you get. You cheeky monkey. Right, is that on correctly, seated properly? Yeah, I think so. What now is the staple on the old Dadskillz car fleet? A bit of anti-seize, copper grease around there. All I've got to do then is the easy bit, connecting the electrics up. That's going to be a bugger, but cool, do that. Ah! Hopefully you can see this, but this one is a little bit bent now, which is a bit annoying, and I've got no chance of getting that in and doing it up tight enough, so I found a little bit of bolt, set screw, should I say. It looks the same. I can cut it down, and then I can actually get something on it, which would be great. It's tricky to keep that steady. Should put it there somewhere. If I'd have actually had some nuts for it, I could have screwed on a nut down here, and then once you've cut it, undo the nut, and it takes a lot of the burrs off for you. But I haven't got that, so I didn't do that. Cool. So the final most important bit, and my audio failed me. So as you can see there, I got the belt back on. It probably took me an hour just trying to move that tensioner, putting a block of wood in there. I did all sorts and managed to get it on in the end. There it is, ready to go. So started the engine and then turned on the AC. And there we go, the whole thing's turning. Lovely, nice and cold inside the cab, fantastic. Ah! So there we go, that was an absolute trial. Took me about 4.5, 5 hours. And it works okay. It's still got its niggles, but she's got aircon in the car. And I'll just go back to what I said before about it's difficult, but I choose to do something that's difficult. And this is my thing that I like to do. I like to do crap to crap cars. So some people like to push themselves when they go out running or cycling or boxing or whatever you want to do, or, you know, something to do with your brain. You push yourself with your brain or whatever. But this is what I do. So you've got to want to do it, especially if you're not into it. The easiest thing in the world is to go out and get a PCP car that you never even have to lift the bonnet for a couple £100 a month. And there you've got your transport sorted. But this is how I push myself. This is what I want to do to push myself. Some people never do want to push themselves, but this is my chosen method. And the other thing is, when I was doing the Mini, I know without saying it that all the neighbours were watching. All the neighbours knew there was no engine in it. And when the engine went back in and I'm driving around in it, now 2 or 3 neighbours have gone, oh, it's back on the road, well done, brilliant. So all those people who may well be scared to have a go at anything, then you just got to find your medium to push yourself in and go for it, I think, is what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way, in a very waffly way. But until the next one, I'm sure it'll be the Mini. It's always the bloody Mini, isn't it? Until the next one, I'm going for a bath. Oh, look at that, look fantastic. See you soon.